This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending my webinar. I'm just going to wait for about a minute or so just to make sure that people log on. I'm supposed to have a little over 30 people logging on, but I won't keep you guys too soon. I'll just wait a few more minutes and hopefully the rest of the attendees will attend. Hi, Raphael. Hi, Selkit. Hi, Mom. Oh, she's up there somewhere. How are you guys doing today? That's good. That's good to hear. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll give it one more minute, and anybody who logs in a little late, I'll just have to share the recording later. Okay, so I will get started. Thank you so much for attending my webinar today. I'm really excited to share my best practices with all of you that I've been using for my writing business for the past 6 years, and also before starting my business for employers here in Alberta. I also just wanted to share with you, I know some of you signed up a little shortly after I published the event online. I'm going to be also presenting just a 10-minute slot of my mentor. Her name is Hyacinth Selkit-Smith, and she'll be talking a little bit more about how to get into the mindset of marketing, which is really important before all of us or anybody really starts marketing best practices. So I'm going to share my screen just so that you guys can see the PowerPoint presentation. And then when Hyacinth comes on and starts talking, I will remove my PowerPoint and she'll start getting into a discussion. And also just for housekeeping, if anybody has their microphone on, if you can turn it off, just to ensure that everybody is able to hear the presentation today. Thanks, everyone. Okay, just gonna open up my PowerPoint here. Okay, so as you know, the name of this webinar is How to Write Effective Marketing Content. This is specific information for businesses, entrepreneurs, employees, or anybody that wants to improve their personal branding in 2020 and beyond. Marketing changes, but I'm just going to share my best practices with all of you. So as you know, content marketing is confusing. Every time you turn around, technology is constantly changing. There's a new social media app that they're telling everybody to jump on, and it can feel a bit frustrating and a little bit nerve-wracking for people who have to kind of like figure this out. And then on top of that, as entrepreneurs, we also have a product and service to sell. So today I'll be going over how to develop a mindset for marketing, which my mentor Hyacinth will go over. Understanding your customer's mindset, so that's how they think, so that whatever it is that you write or you share online or offline, it will connect with them deeply. Social media sites for business. I'm going to be showing you the sites that I personally use. I know that there's a ton of other ones I'm sure that you're familiar with, but these are the ones that help me with my service business. Creating a marketing calendar. So that's just basically all of your marketing. That could be an email that you're sending out every week. That could be social media posts. That could be a magazine advertisement that you do on a regular basis. Just basically knowing how to create a marketing calendar. How to write content that leads to sales. If some of you follow me, marketing is a conversation that you have with a complete stranger. It takes time, but I'll be able to help you get a better understanding of what exactly people are looking for to feel comfortable to buy products and services. how to connect with your audience. And again, that just goes back to understanding the mindset of your audience and producing content that makes them feel comfortable to reach out to you, purchase, and inquire about what you're offering. And then at the end, we'll have I think somebody's microphone is on. If you can just be so kind and turn it on mute, that would be greatly appreciated. And then the last session will be about 10 to 15 minutes of a question and answer session. To ask questions specifically about your business problems that you're experiencing right now in marketing. Okay, so I'm just going to share a little bit about me if you're not familiar. My name is Makita Waterman. I have been in content marketing for the past 6 years. I started out in 2014, and I was doing it for Chartered Professional Accountants of Alberta. And then if you're familiar, Civeo, which is a workforce real estate accommodations company here in Edmonton. And then about the first several years of doing that, I left the workforce, I left my job, and I started my business full time. Now, I know many of you are thinking, oh my God, she just decided to leave. No, I was actually moonlighting. So in the evenings and on the weekends, I was doing my writing business. And then I was doing that to the point where after 2 years, I was able to leave my full-time job. Some of the companies I've worked with include the government of Alberta when it comes to writing services, CBC News. I did some content creation for them. I've also worked with other companies across the globe. And in 2018, I was a full-time blogger, and some of my blogs were refeatured on sites like MSN Money, Yahoo Finance News, and CNBC Make It, HuffPost, and HubSpot, just to name a few. So I'm going to unshare my screen, and I'm going to let my marketing mentor, Hyacinth, just explain a little bit more about how to get into the mindset of marketing. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Can everyone see? Can everyone see her? You can see her? Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, Makita. It's good to be here to share with you guys just a few things that will help you have the mindset of a marketer and to be more successful in business and in life, actually, because the mindset will transfer from business to your personal life as well. So I'm just going to share a handful of things that you can do to help develop that mindset. And actually, mindset is 80% of success is more the psychology or the mindset, emotions, and the ability to just be able to push through and do things even though you're fearful of. You feel like you have the limitation and the fear. It's really just be able to do that. So that's actually 80% of well, most people don't know that. They focus more on the 20%, which is the skills, the techniques, the knowing what to do, the having the right tools and having strategies and stuff like that. But really, most of the time when a lot of people that are, the reason why you'll find a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge and skills that are not successful is because their mindset will hold them back from actually doing anything with what they've learned. They'll be fearful, they'll have self-doubt, and that will hold them back, and then they won't make it. So the main thing you can do to develop that mindset is really, because you have to focus on actually develop. It's not natural. Most people don't have a natural mindset of success. Because as normal human beings, we have a survival mindset from ancient time that kept us being able to survive. Literally, we're always looking for what's going on wrong, what is gonna. So we have a survival mindset that's always looking for something that's saving you from what you think is gonna hurt you. Which this time, it's actually those are things that you need to do. You need to push through. That kind of mindset will stop you from being successful. It will hold you back from taking action and stuff. So one of the first things you want to do is literally just read a lot of books that are actually good personal development books, personal growth books that will help you to have to develop the mindset, because it doesn't come natural. So some of the books you want to read is like maybe See at the Top by Zig Ziglar. That's a really good attitude. Books like Napoleon Hill, some of the classics like Think and Grow Rich, Get Lost to Success. Those are really good. Yes.
Okay. I think caller number one. I think. Can you guys? Okay. Everybody has their mic off. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
It's a little choppy a bit.
Okay. I don't know. Can you hear me better?
Yep, that's fine. You can keep going.
It's still choppy. Maybe I can probably dial in on the phone, because I have you listening to me through the speaker or through
Okay.
my.
Okay, that would be great if you can try that.
Is it that bad? So okay. I'll probably call in then. Let me grab the number. Hold on a second.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to repeat again. I know some of you just logged in. If you can please put your caller on, like look at the little microphone at the bottom and just press it until it turns red, because it sounds a little choppy, and we just want to make sure that we get all of this done within the hour. I'd appreciate it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen.
Can you hear me better now, or should I still I'm trying to find the number to dial in. I was just going to speak through my speaker. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you can keep going. You can keep going.
Should I keep going, or should I call in?
No, that's fine. You can keep going.
Keep going? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, just give me a second here. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so let's start talking about some of the books that you can actually read to help develop your mindset. Just go to the bookstore and just find or Amazon and find personal development books. There usually a lot of them are basically on mindset, but some of the ones that I also like, there's the one that is called Anatomy of Illness by Norman Cousins, and that one is not really on marketing or business. It's more on health, but the reason why I like it is because it really shows you the big difference it can make. I mean, your mindset and your attitude can make a difference between illness and health, and it can make the difference between life and death, really, because you can think yourself to illness and think yourself to success and think yourself to life or death, really. So that's one of the things that you really want to do, is just make sure you're reading. Another really good book is The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, and that one is an excellent book that's really help you recondition your mind to have that mental positive attitude. And so another thing you can do besides just reading is affirmations. Affirmations are an excellent way. You can literally just come up with a positive statement that you want to achieve, and once you repeat it over and over again, it'll literally become, you actually just start to believe it. I know at first sometimes people don't like affirmation, they think they're lying to themselves or whatever, but it's literally, like I said, you just keep repeating it, you'll eventually start believing it. And if you don't feel comfortable saying an affirmation, you can just use it as like a declaration. When you're you're actually declaring what's going to be in the near future, what's coming up, what is going to be your future, your near future, so that you can more look at it as a declaration. And it's just picking a positive statement and saying it over and over again of what you want, pretty much your goal. Like you could say something like, I'm so happy and grateful that I have a successful online business that's generating a net income of $10,000 a month, something like that. And you just keep saying it over and over and over again, and that will help you to train your brain that that's a reality. And then you have you'll act that way, which is that's a positive mindset way of thinking, right? And then also another thing you can do to develop that mindset is just literally be in gratitude. If you like again, we have that survival mindset, so we're always looking for what's wrong. So you have to literally make an effort to think of what is going good in your life and make a list of them and go over them as much as you possibly can. And I don't just make I actually go deeper. I don't just do the gratitude. I ask myself why. Like if you're gonna say, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so grateful for my health, why? I'm so grateful for my home, for my spouse, for my children. When you ask yourself why and you really keep asking yourself why and going deeper, I mean, I've done it to the point where I start having tears of joy because you really have the emotions come out of why you feel so grateful, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the luckiest person in the world. And that feeling, when you have that feeling, you can't ever be in a bad mindset if you're feeling that so joyful and so grateful and so happy. So once you're having that, when you're focusing on what's going great in your life, then that will create a positive mindset and a positive attitude, which will lead to success in everything in your life. Another thing you can do is just who you hang around. If you find that you pay attention to the people that you're spending time with, because you become the average of your 5 best friends, and you become who you hang around. So if you're around negative people, you want to pay attention to the people that break you down, that are not supportive, the people that are not maybe like the gossip or be negative, and just spend less time with them. And I'm not saying sometimes it's hard if they're family members or close friends, but you want to just spend less time with them and more time with people that build you up and are positive. And because if you're around people that have a good mindset, it actually rub off on you a lot faster, and you can develop the mindset that way by just being around people that have that great mindset. And the last thing I'm going to share is just that what you can do to have that positive mindset is just stop thinking about you and focusing on what people are thinking about you. And because then you start thinking what's wrong, or I'm doing this presentation, or I'm doing this thing online, or I'm doing my business, are people judging me, or people looking at me? If you focus on sharing your content and really providing value for your customer and your prospects or clients, you're going to take your off of you and you're focusing on them, and you really truly, most people really want to help. So if you're really focusing on helping a person, then it'll take you out of your head of thinking of all the negative things, and that will also get you in a positive mindset. Those are just a few things that you can actually do to develop that mindset. And the more you do it, the more, again, if you'll be doing this all the time, like I mentioned about the books that you need to be reading, you can actually get them in audiobooks if it's hard for you to sit down and read the books. Go get the audiobooks and play them while you're driving. Turn your car into a university while you're driving along. You could be listening to the books when you're home and you're maybe doing anything that you don't have to concentrate on. Like if you are cooking or cleaning or exercising, you could be listening to positive books or affirmations or anything that can really reprogram your brain and reprogram your mind to be more successful. So I'm going to keep it short because I want to get it back to. I know Makita has a lot of things to talk about, so I'm going to give it back to her so she can share more with you about how to be successful in your marketing business. Okay, Mark, you can take it back, Makita.
Hey, thank you so much for your input. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'll share my screen again. Okay, so understanding your customer's mindset. I always like to, when I'm working with companies, I always like to tell people that if you don't understand who your potential customers are, it's going to be very difficult to produce content, to write a blog, an article, create a video, or create any kind of visual for people to really understand what it is that you're doing. So one of the best ways to get started is to read your comments and the direct messages that come in from your audience. And I say this because you kind of want to look at what you're doing when you're sharing content as, I would say, as like a reality TV show or a think tank. So when somebody comments on your post or you're getting direct messages in a high volume for a specific topic, then I would strongly suggest that you move your content in that direction. And even when you get negative feedback, I know several weeks ago I received a comment on, it was a direct message that I received from somebody that wasn't very kind. And in the moment, it kind of hurt my feelings. I felt a little bad in that moment. But then shortly after, I started to think, I think this person in their own way is really trying to give me feedback. What can I do to change it? And immediately I just started changing some of my content and the way that I share my post to get a little bit more of have a bit of a deeper connection with my audience. Social media analytics. So many of you are probably on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. I know it's very, very distracting when you're just trying to post and you're doing your best to keep in touch with people that leave comments, but I would strongly suggest that you go into the back end of each and every one of your social media sites and take a look at the insights. So for example, I love Instagram because when you click on the top right corner and you click on insights, it shows you the gender, the percentage of men and women that are looking at your posts. It shows you the time that most people are online on Instagram based on your followers. It shows you all of this information that really gives you a map as to what you should be writing and who you should be writing to and how often and the date and the times that you should be doing it each day or each week. Likes, shares, and bookmark posts. Now, one of the things that I'll get into later on in this presentation is a call to action. When you write in your post, like this post if you agree, or leave a comment below, or book this post if you like it, and you do that every single day in each post that you do, it gives you a real understanding of what people like and what they don't like. For example, for myself, I know Raphael and some of you have been following me on Instagram for quite some time. When I started doing videos, I would do it in my office and I would do it there. But then one day I went walking and a thought came to mind. I pulled up my phone, I started walking and I started talking. I shared my first outdoor, walking post, and I actually got more views and more feedback on my post within several hours than I did in a post that was sitting there for like 6 weeks, which was crazy. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, I said to myself, wow, people are really gravitating to these videos of me talking about marketing while I'm walking outside. So now most of my videos now are outside pieces of content because the likes, the shares, and the bookmarks, the data tells it all. Pay attention to people's social media posts. So when you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, while you're posting, pay attention also to what people are sharing. What are their pain points? What are their issues? What are they complaining about? What do they feel like they are lacking in their homes, at work, or in their business? This is all helpful information for you to say, oh, wow, okay, let's take, for example, Raphael. He's a plumber here in my city, here in Edmonton. Let's take, for example, he has a little over 10,000 posts, guys. He's a pretty popular guy in my city. And let's take, for example, he has a bunch of people in his city that keep complaining about the plumbers being late or plumbers that are charging too much. This is data for Raphael because he can say, what video or post or blog post can I put out that can solve this problem? So as entrepreneurs, some of you on this call are entrepreneurs, we're problem solvers. So every piece of content that you share online and offline, it should be how to solve people's problems. That's all it's about. And then news stories in your industry. I like to take a look at stories that people are sharing on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, because I'm more of a business to business business, I like to take a look at what CEOs, vice presidents are complaining about and different things that are changing in the industry and hear their feedback. And that really helps me to produce content on LinkedIn. And then from a more casual standpoint, Facebook and Instagram, I like to take a look to see what people are talking about, because it really gives me an understanding of what their marketing issues are, or what they're doing, etc. So that's how you get into the mindset of your consumers or your audience, followers, etc. Okay, so the next slide is social media sites for business. LinkedIn, if you are in a business where you are servicing another business, for example, like myself, I call myself a B2B, business to business woman, because most of my clients are companies, organizations, small businesses like the government of Alberta, QuickBooks, etc. So I know that when I get on LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen, and I post a post, I'm not posting to my neighbor who is an employee. I'm not posting to the 15-year-old who's on TikTok. I'm posting to an executive. I'm posting to a manager, somebody who has purchasing power or can make decisions in a company. So that's one of the best platforms if you're business to business. If you are business to consumer and your customer base is the mom and pop stores, or Karen who works in accounting, LinkedIn is the place to be. It really, really is. YouTube, I've been using YouTube. I love doing YouTube advertisements. I'm not sure if this would apply to all of you, but you might be able to sign up for YouTube. They're giving away $100 free. And I've tried a couple of posts. My first video that I tried that with, it had about over 10,000 views within several weeks, which was great. And that video that I did, ladies and gentlemen, it was just a video about how I got started in my business, what I love about writing, and my thoughts on content marketing in the future. Facebook, I know it's difficult because now I'm getting into not just 2 platforms, but now 3 and 4. If you have a business page and a personal page, I strongly suggest that you constantly try to post daily on both. Your personal page, what I've been doing is I'll post a video of me doing like a funny video on TikTok, which is more personal, and then I'll post a more business video about content marketing tips and strategies. So those are some ways that you can work with the business and personal pages on Facebook. Instagram is a great platform for business to consumers. Raphael, again, he's a plumber here in Edmonton. Hyacinth, she is a marketer who is in the health space. If your audience are, again, Karen in accounting or the single mom down the street, Instagram is the place to be. There has been a lot of talk about the algorithm and Instagram not being great, which is true. But if you're sharing helpful content, ladies and gentlemen, that helps people solve their problems every day, you shouldn't have any problems at all with being able to be successful in Instagram. Twitter is a great platform. Not a lot of people use it these days because Twitter has it's oversaturated. But I like to just go on Twitter because a lot of CEOs and people in the tech space follow me, and I don't want to abandon the site, so I keep it going every day. Spotify, if you want to get into actually maybe converting some of your videos into text, Spotify is a great platform. And I just signed up on TikTok. If you're into doing dance performances and just really doing goofy stuff in your daily activity at work or in business, TikTok is a great platform. Creating a marketing calendar. So the idea is to really think about seasonal trends, holidays, and competitors, events in your industry, because if you're posting a campaign at the same time that your competitor is posting, for example, or an event that they're holding, that could cause a problem to you. The best times to post are in the morning and in the afternoon. After this webinar, if you take a look at Hootsuite, Buffer, or Sprout Social's perspective, then you will be able to kind of get a better understanding of when to post based on your audience. But again, as I was mentioning before, if you go into the back end of your social media sites, you'll see what time most of your followers are on. Schedule 2 to 4 weeks in advance. So what I do is I like to batch or just do a bunch of videos a bunch of blogs and photos on the weekend, and then I schedule it out on Buffer. Later.com is another good scheduling app, and I let everything just kind of run itself, because as I schedule my post, it gives me an opportunity to engage with my followers instead of posting manually on all of the 8 to 9 platforms I have. How to write content that leads to sales. Patience is really important. Again, as I mentioned before, marketing, it's a conversation you have with a stranger. Marketing takes time. It can take several weeks to several months to 6 months or a year. Be consistent. Remember to post the same time of the day, and make sure that you give people a heads up about what's coming up. If you decide to stop posting in the morning and you decide to post in the evening, for example, on your Instagram Live, let people know that, or share a short video letting people know that. Solve problems. Know your customers' problems. Solve their problems by sharing advice. Share new things that are coming up in your industry or with your work, or with your business, news, insights, events that are coming up, and ask people for feedback and ideas. You can do that with your Instagram stories, and just try to be creative when you're doing that. Avoid sales. Marketing and sales are two different things. Sales is when somebody comes to you and they're asking about your products and services and they want to move to the selling phase. Marketing is a conversation. It's sharing advice and doing your best to give that advice the best way possible. Try not to use sales strategies in your content unless someone is asking you for your business. Personality. Be different than your competitors. If you're in technology, if you're in plumbing, if you're in health, switch it up. Be yourself, be authentic. That's what people like to see. Add personality by adding humor, be friendly, use enthusiasm, and be confident in anything that you share on the internet. How to connect with your audience. Ask them questions. For every post, start off with a question that makes people think. Once you can get into the repetitive history of doing that, then it might not work the first several weeks, but just give it some time. People need to feel like they can warm up to your content. Calls to action. So at the end of your social media post, say, what do you think? Or leave a comment below, or like this post if you agree or if it was helpful. Try to get people to engage with your content. Go live. On YouTube, you can go live if you have about 1,000 subscribers. On LinkedIn, a selected number of people have it, but you would have to apply and then they would let you know if they can give you a live or not. You can go live on Instagram, which is really a great way to connect with your audience. And you can also go live on Facebook and TikTok if you're interested. Conduct webinars. Webinars are a great way to get to know people, to again share advice and really see what's working with your audience. And it also helps you understand what demographics of people are gravitating towards your business content. So question and answers. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if anybody has any questions at all in regards to their business or anything in particular. Don't be shy. Okay.
I'll ask a question.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
So, in relation to, like, I find that Instagram, people really like the posts that are not so much about product or service, but more about you. Like, it seems like you get way more engagement when you're just being yourself, like you say, showing your personality. So what sort of ratio of content would you suggest in terms of, like, maybe if you're set on 3 posts a week, like 1 of those posts is about you and 2 is about product and service, or like, I don't know, what sort of ratio would you think?
That's a really great question. I post every day on all of my platforms except for TikTok. And it's exactly what you said. 1 post will be about maybe a picture of me with a quote about writing or business writing. And then the second one the next day or then in the evening will be about business related stuff. When I first started, I would do like, well, since we're in a quarantine, I would take photos of myself at events. It would be like a selfie or just a photo of myself with somebody at the event. And then I would put like a small little caption. And then the next post would be like a blog that I have on my website or a video that I have coming up. So if you go personal business, that's a great way of people consuming your content. But in your personal, try to bring it back to the problem solving. So for example, on my Instagram, if you want to follow me after this event, the last event I went to, I believe I took a photo of myself and I said, this is me rushing after business and rushing to this event. I only had a smoothie. And then after that first, second sentence, I said, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we have to do things that we don't feel like doing, such as waking up in the morning, even though we don't want to wake up, or going to an event, although we only had like a carrot to eat for dinner. So I always try to, with my personal, I try to bring it back to something inspirational for people that are following me. Does anyone have any other questions at all about social media, sharing content, anything about your business in particular or at work?
I have one.
Okay.
You say all the things that Raphael does right, but
Oh,
what
nice.
do you think? What do you think Pro Plumbing should do better?
Well, it's great. I'm glad that you asked that because I've been thinking about you, Raphael, only because we met several weeks at Second Cup. So I like what you're doing. I love the fact that you had a little post today about like a faucet, a leaky faucet, then you had your little content there. I think what you're doing is great. Just the fact that you have 10,000 plus followers is absolutely amazing. You've got an audience, right? I think what you can continue to do is do something personal like you do with your child and your wife. I think it's beautiful that you're even confident to show your family, and then go back to your plumbing. Like I don't know what your industry is about, but something that's seasonal, like, hey, lady, don't forget to turn off your faucet when you have to do this or have to do that. Just personal business. And once you have like a nice little, helping people with their problems, and then my personal family stuff, once you get into the reoccurring pattern of doing that, people will be like, okay, he's not just, a plumber with his family, but he's a plumber that wants to help me. And then people will feel connected. Like, people need to feel that you have their best interest in mind. Because if people think that I'm selling or anybody on this webinar is selling, that's when they start to shut down, and they'll continue to follow you, but they won't take you seriously if it's just like too much personal, too much business. Did you have any other questions, Raphael?
What challenges do you find on social media?
That's a good question. I think for me, that's a really good question, because I actually have fun doing it, as you can probably tell. I think what it is really is just really, I can't say patience, but just trying to be creative. Like I'm not sure if you saw the TikTok post that I put up, but usually I come from a corporate background, so being super professional is a part of my business mindset. So on the weekend, I was like, okay, I'm getting more inquiries. I'm closing some deals here on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. But how can I be more personal? So I was actually nervous to post the last TikTok, the TikTok post that is sitting on my Instagram profile. But I said, you know what? I have to have a mix of humor, a mix of business, a mix that will touch people's heart. And that's really what it is just trying to figure out what will work with people. Again, I felt nervous, but I actually had some people direct message me like, ha, 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 that was really funny. You should do that more. Show some personality. I know you're a writer, but show some personality. So now, because I got that feedback, now I realized another part of my personality online that I can do, which is being fun, being goofy, being nerdy. I mean, I feel nervous in the moment, but it's not going to hurt anybody. Somebody will laugh. Somebody will just be like, oh, that's really silly, and log off of my page. But at least I'm showing people a part of my vulnerability, even though I'm nervous to do it. So that's probably one of the things I was trying to figure out. But I think I'm going to try to do that more often, just show some funny TikTok videos here and there. So does anyone have any questions about blogging, doing videos, online marketing, offline marketing, anything at all specific to your business or at work or your personal brand? Okay, well, thank you so much for attending. I'll just share this last screen with all of you. I really appreciate your time. Let me just get my PowerPoint open so I can show you my social handles that you guys can follow. So I'm on quite a bit of platforms here. So if you can see my screen that I have here, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Spotify, I go as YEG Writer. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's my first and last name, Makita Waterman. And my YouTube channel, it is my business name, Top Writing Services, Inc. And this is my email address and my website. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm gonna try to do this every month, just once a month, a date and a time. I might end up switching up the topics. I know we ran over a bit, but thanks again for all of your time. If you have any questions, feel free to call, text, email, connect with me online, and I hope all of you stay healthy, stay safe, and I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you, everybody. Bye.